and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this hump day. I hope it finds you well out there. As Thanksgiving right around the corner. I mean, it's here, right? And then, of course, Old Saint Nick, right? Christmas and New Year's. And if retail sales are any indication, the holiday season off to a slow start, but we've got a ton of news. The silver rally continues. Gold been up 10, down 10, back into positive territory as well today. A bunch of announcements out of the retail. We'll cover all of those. We had two different major restaurant franchises declare bankruptcy this week. One from Wendy's, one from Burger King. We'll talk about that as well. And how much gold is China really buying? Wow, we talked the other day. People were speculating that China may have bought close to 600 metric tons this year. We have another update on just how much gold China really does have. I think everyone agrees that the official number is not the real number. I think the debate is how much more do they really have? So we got a great show lined up for you. 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. The website at allamericangold.com. And, Jason, I guess we'll start off with retail sales being less than expected, declining. Obviously, we had a few things, right? We've got strikes going. And by the way, the General Motors UAW deal looks like it's going to not pass. And this has happened at some Ford plants, at some Stellantis plants. But apparently for General Motors, Jason, the strikes that we thought may be over may not be over. And then, of course, student loan payments restarted. And at least the first month of what I'll call the, October, November, December, the holiday months, off to a slow start because not only were sales down, they were down from the previous month, which usually we always see uptick in retail spending in October, November, and December. It didn't happen in October. I don't know if it'll happen in November or December as well.
Out how much credit the American consumer still has, I guess, right? We'll see if those record levels in debt continue to go up, which I kind of think there's probably still some squeeze there. And then next year, that'll be it. There won't be anything left in that orange, basically.
Well, yeah, it's been pretty well squeezed. There's no doubt about that. But when we look at the decline, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't like, it's kind of like the inflation, the CPI number. It was 1/10 lower and everyone got all excited. But the headline number, it was lower, declining 0.1%. Like I said, this is, kind of a holiday month. And I know October, got Halloween in there, but there's a lot of people start their Christmas shopping early because of a budget thing. You're buying the knickknacks and getting ready, and it just didn't happen. But it is the first decline going back to 7 months ago. The Retail Control Group, they always have these fancy groups. Well, if we take out this, that, the other, this group, if you take out food, they love taking out food, right? Don't they? I don't know how we can live. Automobile dealerships, got to take those out. Building materials, why would you take that out? Gasoline, they said that it rose 0.2%. That was less than expected. And then when we looked at the information, Target beat the number, right? So you're like, oh, okay, because usually when we have a slowdown starting, Target's a great one to go to because they're not as good as Walmart. Walmart's better at being cheaper, right? And I think Walmart has more food. Target's more of I don't know, maybe, I guess I'll say it this way. Maybe a little higher middle-class clientele, if you will, that maybe would shop at Target. But when you start pinching pennies, well, I'm going to buy it at Walmart. I'm going to go to Walmart because, it's $1 less than it is over at Target. But here's how they beat. And this is going to be interesting. Sales down 6%. That's not good. That's, for me anyway, being a former retail guy, that's a lot to be down 6%. But what it did show me is what they did is they made more money on what they did sell. So Target, everybody's been raising prices. One of the things that Target was able to do, Jason, is, hey, before we were making 10%, but now we're making 13%, right? Yeah, so sales fell 6%, but we were able to beat. Now, I don't know that because, I don't know if Target just played an accounting gimmick this quarter, which they could have. But they had 6% less sales, and were still able to beat the number. It looked good as far as, they beat it. But when you actually looked, it was like, okay. Kind of an ugly beat. And then TJ Maxx, and they are a stellar retailer, especially in clothing and home goods. They actually lowered guidance for the fourth quarter. So a real good retailer, a mediocre retailer, both of them not so much. We'll be back. (800-951-0592). Joe and Jason, Patriot Radio News Hour on this Wednesday. Had a nice rally yesterday. With everybody agreeing rate cuts are over, we could rally some more here. I don't know. Then again, today may be it, because it's gone from, we were right at 33,000. We're almost at 35,000. It will depend. If we get more comments like TJ Maxx, like TJX, like Target, yes, they beat, but not how you want to beat, right? You don't want to, we beat it, but sales dropped 6%. It's going to be interesting, the data points. Unfortunately, I know a lot of people are excited. Hey, we're going to get all these rate cuts so Wall Street can keep rallying. That sounds good. It does, right? It's like, that makes sense. The Fed's not going to cut rates. Unless, I'm sorry, retail sales down 0.1%. That's not going to do it. That's not enough. Job cuts would have to be a lot higher. There'd be, before they started cutting rates, there would be a lot of negative pressure, but we'll see. We could rally a little more from here. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get back to all-time highs in the market, but right now the Dow's up 120. The Nasdaq's up the S&P's up 18. The Nasdaq's up 75. Silver's up 40 more cents. Man, silver just, what a tear right now. 23.50. Gold's right below 1970. Crude oil's down, but we'll get oil inventory reports here in a little bit. So we'll see about those things. Being diversified, we talk about it so much. If you have an old 401k or IRAs, get them over to Joey. If you're looking to be like, hey, you know what? I want something that I can count. Because I don't know. I listen to Joe. I listen to Jason. They're telling me that 2024 is going to be a tough year. It makes a lot of sense. You know what? Maybe I want to take some of my stuff and lock in a fixed rate of return. I think it's going to be a tough. Here's the problem. Really, when you think about the last 3 years, we haven't really gone anywhere. Yeah, we got as high as 37,000. We've got as low as 30,000. But it's really sat, that 33, 34,000, the Dow. The S&P's kind of sat between 4,000 and 40, 40, let's call it 4,100 and 4,500. Just kind of been sitting there, not really moving very much. But by all accounts, the next move definitely looks like it's going to be lower versus higher. Having something where, hey, I know, hey, for 5 years, I can take a certain piece of my money and get 10.25%. Or maybe you just want to take, you know what, I'm going to sit out 2024. I'm going to sit that year out, 1 year. You'll get 6.25% return at Y Refi, and really part of the greater good, as I always say. Check them out, investyrefy.com. That's the word invest, the letter Y, REFY.com. Or just call them at 888-Y-REFI-24. As you guys know, you got to have at least $50,000. You guys know that. You could use an existing IRA. Some of you can use a 401k. Citigroup today announced layoffs are starting today. Notices are going to be going out starting today through next week. Haven't gotten an indication yet on the size, but Jason, Citigroup is saying, hey, we're getting ready to cut back. And again, this is another sign that even Citi's like, hey, listen, there's going to be less deals. There's going to be less trading. It's going to get uglier. Let's get in front of this, and let's get a reduced head count here. And by the way, bonuses, Wall Street bonuses down again. So we knew last year, obviously last year, bad year, Jason, right? So it made sense that Wall Street bonuses were down. I mean, this year, it's not a bad year, right? I mean, the NASDAQ's up 15, 20%. The S&P, it's up some as well. The Dow, maybe sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But another big cut to Wall Street bonuses.
Well, it's interesting because I remember in 2019, there was a record number of CEOs just cashing in and leaving, right? Right before old COVID just happened to show up, almost like they knew COVID was coming or something. And to hear this, bonuses down, it makes you wonder if they're trying to, encourage more of these people to leave, right? Hey, we got to cut budgets here pretty soon, and the biggest budgets are if we can get these execs, to leave, right, Joe? The guys that get the bonuses. That's kind of what it sounds like to me, Joe, is preparing for next year, the recession that's coming.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things where, again, I think that's a great place to look. If you, because let's face it, these companies are huge, and they always have analysts that will tell you it's going down. Then they'll have a different analyst tell you it's going up, right? They cover every side of everything, right? They'll tell you, one analyst will tell you gold's going down. The other analyst will tell you gold's going up. The other one's going to tell you that the S&P is going up. The other one's going to say S&P is going down. But start looking at what they're doing with head count and looking at bonus checks. Those are the two big things that can tell you the true health of the market. Because let's face it, huge. I mean, Microsoft all-time high. NVIDIA, Apple has struggled a little bit here. But take Facebook, Meta. Now, they were horrible last year, but they're up a couple of 100% this year, right? It's still the same 8 stocks that are doing all the heavy lifting. So it's going to be interesting how all of this plays out. We had 2 major bankruptcies. Bankruptcy filings keep piling up. Sooner or later, you think this is going to catch up to everybody. Burger King, one of their largest franchisees, 172 stores. I mean, wow, that's a lot of stores over a bunch of states in the South. Has filed for bankruptcy protection. It's going to be a flat-out auction. They're just saying how many stores you want to buy. Looks like whatever stores don't get bought in bankruptcy, Jason, are going to be shut down. And then Wendy's, one of their major franchisees, 72 locations, Florida, Alabama, Illinois, Missouri, Wisconsin, filed for bankruptcy protection yesterday. And so, again, is it a trend? Yes. Are bankruptcy filings piling up? Yes. And we're talking about, people. Have you seen all these posts? All like they're on Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok. People going to McDonald's, and McDonald's now has a new pricing structure. Guess what? Oh, it's dinner time. Oh, we're going to charge more. Yeah. Oh, that Big Mac combo meal? Well, you came and it's 6 o'clock. That's prime dinner time. We're going to add another $1 to it. Customers are freaking out. $16 for a Big Mac combo meal. I saw one guy in Connecticut paid almost $19 for a Big Mac combo meal. And you know what? I think this is a trend. The consumer's going, wait a minute, why would I go there and pay that kind of money? Like a Whopper at Burger King, they want like $8 or $9. Forget about it.
It sounds like they're getting ready to create the McDonald's happy hour. Right? Because there's going to be that rush right before the higher prices. It's kind of a smart move. Hey, this is our dead part of our schedule. We need a happy hour. Right. We know they're going to come late because that's just when mom and dad gets home. But you know what? If we can get that 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock rush coming in through the door, that's going to help us out. And when I hear like a Wendy's franchise owner shutting down 72 stores in bankruptcy, something very wrong with things, because if you own 72 stores, Joe, you tell me what you would do. In my mind, if I'm not doing well, I knock down 10 or 15 stores and beef up those other ones, right? But this guy, whoever this is, he took all 72 down, which means to me, he probably put some assets away, put some stuff away, and decided, I'm done. He threw his hands up.
Yeah, well, in both of these, they did that. They closed underperforming stores already. They went that route already. Right, and then they're like, okay, this is what's left. We got to file bankruptcy, right? We shut down the dogs, but again, you shut down those dogs. If you've got a landlord, right, you're still paying the lease, right? You're still making a lease payment, but you're sitting there going, well, yeah, okay, and I don't know what the lease would be on a Wendy's or a Burger King, but let's just say you're paying $5,000 or $10,000 a month in a lease, and you're like, well, you know what? If I open the store, I'm going to lose $20,000, right? Well, let me close it. I'll actually save money by only losing $5,000 or $10,000 a month. But it wasn't enough. And again, it just says, to me anyway, that the slowdown is here, right? And again, is it the same person that 70%? That I've been saying, hey, I think that we're up to about 70% are out of money right now. Now 30-40%, they're in the hole, right? They're struggling to even try to get by. The rest of that group, it's been over time, right? And prices, everything just keeps going up. Goes up a little more, goes up a little more, goes up, and eventually they're like, okay, that's it, right? Maybe I lost a shift at work, or they cut my hours, and all of a sudden they're out of money. And this is one of those places that you would go and look, because what do you cut out first, right? These are probably people that, hey, I wasn't going to the Olive Garden. I wasn't going to Morton's Steakhouse or the Keg or whatever it may be. I wasn't going to the higher-end restaurants. Like when we were eating out, this is where we went. We went to Burger King. We went to McDonald's. We went to Wendy's. And what they're saying is you know what? I can't afford to do that. I can't imagine feeding a family of 4, and especially if you had teenagers. I mean, hey, give me 4 Big Macs, right? Give me 4 Whoppers, right? And you're like, well, that'll be $55, $60. You're like, what? Whoa, I'm at McDonald's. What do you mean? $60 for 4 Whopper meals, right? But Jason, This is what it is, and I think this is a sign. Target is a sign. Even TJX, they are a great operator. They really, really are. Even they're saying, hey, they're out of money.
I wonder how much this stuff's going to cost in Alaska and Hawaii. I remember as a kid, when I still ate a lot of junk food, I would go to Taco Bell, and they had that 49-cent meal value menu or whatever it was. And there's always an asterisk. There's always an asterisk on the commercials and on the menu boards. It says except in Alaska and Hawaii. So I wonder how much this stuff is costing. I wonder what that value meal, you got a $19 Connecticut value meal. I wonder how much that costs in Hawaii, Joe. It's got to be $25 or $30 maybe, right?
I don't,
Alaska?
You know what? That's a great question. How about California? All fast food workers now got to get paid $20 an hour. Everybody there, McDonald's, Chipotle, you name it, they're all saying, yeah, we've got to raise prices because of it. And again, how far away are we, right? Think about this. We used to talk about it all the time, right? Is working at McDonald's and Burger King, is that going to be the new union job, right? Are you going to have to get paid $30 an hour? I mean, it just blows my mind that a Big Mac combo meal, and this wasn't like the supersized fry and drink, just the regular old combo, $16, Connecticut, $18. What the heck? Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. (800-951-0592). Joe and Jason here on this Wednesday. I've got a couple of items for you today on $20. I have $20. I'm going to say Liberties. There may be some Saints. I don't know. You get what you get on this. Now this deal here, you have to buy all. I've only got 20 of them. You have to buy all 20 of them. It's $43,000. It's $2,150 a coin. Right now, you got gold, 1965, 1966. All right, we're doing 1965 and 1970 gold right now. If you buy all 20, I'm going to throw in, because it's holiday time. You're going to see Jason and I. We're going to do some things that'll help with like little stocking stuffers and whatnot. I'm going to get you a roll of 1971 Ike dollars. So those Ike dollars, they had a little over 0.2 of an ounce of silver in it. It's right now silver. By the way, silver's up almost 40 cents right now, $23.50. The melt value, just melt. You took one of these Ike dollars, melted it down, $4.92 or $4.91, $4.92. Let's just round up, $5. But if you buy the 2020s, saving. By the way, saving $25 a coin at $21.50. I'll get you a roll of 20 Ike dollars. You can use them, stocking stuffers for the grandkids or whatever you want to do with it. $43,000 for that. And I know for a lot of people are like, come on, Joe, 43 grand. Please. I wish I had 43 grand. I get it. I understand. That's not, everybody has different levels. I have 75 $5 Liberties. 1 through 19, and this price it's just awesome. $555, 1 through 19. If you buy 20 or more, $550. And same thing there. You buy $25 Liberties, I'll throw in a roll. That's $11,000. That's not a lot. $11,000. And I don't really I get a lot of people. $11,000 is a lot. I understand. But you'll get a roll of the Ike dollars as well. So you don't have to buy 20, right? If you want to buy one, they're $5.55. But if you buy 20 at $550. Great little stocking stuffers. The Ike silver dollar, they're worth about $5 a piece, and they're nice. They're not all beat up and worn out like the older Morgans and peace dollars. But a great opportunity here, Jason, in the gold markets at 800-951-0592, and in the silver markets. Listen, I didn't raise my price today. I will tomorrow. But cases of Silver Eagles, if you're looking, $15,000 for a case of Silver Eagles. Rolls of Silver Eagles, $610. You got almost another 50-cent move in silver. That's another $250 on a case. That's another $10 on a roll of silver, Jason.
That's correct, Joe. And yeah, we always... we throw those big specials out there that'll have large numbers, and we always tell you, hey, it doesn't matter, we'll sell you the one roll of dimes, or we'll sell you the whole bag, 200 rolls of dimes. But for the people on the smaller budget, something to keep in mind is you want to get yourself to a place where $11,000 is not a lot of money. You got to get yourself in that mindset at some point. Because if you're always worried about $100 and $50, which I know when you're scraping and you're saving just a little bit of time, it matters. But Joe, can't get the mindset right. Got to get the mindset of being a big saver. Putting back large amounts, because that frame of mind will get you where you want to go financially. If you're always worried about every single one of your pennies, it's kind of not the right mindset. This is one of the reasons why we sell gold and silver, is to get you saving a substantial amount of your income, Joe.
Yeah, and again, look at what's really happening out there. Go to allamericangold.com. There's a great interview with Dominic Frisby, and he does flyingfrisbee.com. He's an English guy. At least I think he's English. But he's he's a good writer. He uses a lot of humor in what he does, but he's also really good at what he does. And everybody's been talking about China and the amount of gold that they've been buying, and not just China, but kind of all of the Silk Road countries, if you will, buying gold in concert with China. Maybe not the quantities that China's buying, but again, I did not think, last year we set a record. This year, because we had Turkey at one point sold a bunch of gold, of course they're buying again, that we missed the record. People are saying we're going to beat last year's record, that the demand just doesn't stop. But everybody out there always says, okay, so China's official number now, 2,215 metric tons. That's the official number. For 12 straight months in a row, China bought gold again. The latest purchase this month, 23, well, I guess it would have been last month, last month's number, October, 23 metric tons. Remember, a metric ton, 32,150 ounces. So China, they just, they bought about 740,000 ounces of gold. No big deal. Right? And they do that month after month after month. Well, this guy Frisbee, he goes, I've been following China's gold purchasing for a long time. This 2,215 number is the number that China wants you to know about. One of the things that he brings up is the culture of the Chinese. Right? They're not a braggadocious people. They like to be, you know what I like to call them, Jason? You know what they are? They're very sneaky. They don't want, we talk about freedom here, right? One of the things that we talk about is our lack of freedom. The government keeps trying to take away our freedom. Well, in China, they view it a little differently. They have blind faith in their government, and they like it when their government fools everybody out there. I'll tell you what Frisbee has to say about exactly what China's up to. That's coming up next. $800-951-0592. The stocks are coming down here pretty quickly. The bond market, another one. The second big sell-off in a couple of weeks. Looks like it's going to be short-lived again. Another big rally here. I'm just guessing that the bond auctions aren't going so great today. Listen, I don't care what happens here. We've got liquidity issues in the treasury markets, period. Is it devastating? Not yet. I think that's kind of the key. Not yet. But make no mistake about it. There's a liquidity issue. And it's starting to really wreak havoc. And I think this is why the Fed is done. I think this is also why everybody celebrated the 1/10 lower on inflation yesterday, because Wall Street's panicked. They know there's a look. They just don't want you to know. I hope you're putting more gold away, more silver away, because it's coming. But getting back to Frisbee here, he's talking about, hey, let me tell you how the Chinese think and operate. And this is important. He goes, the Chinese are breaking the news gently. With this, 23 tons here, 26 tons there, 25 tons there, 19 tons. I've probably studied the Chinese more than anyone, he said. And I'll tell you why China's gold holdings, are probably 10 times what they say they are. And that's a big one for me. Okay, you're talking about 20,000 tons. And as of 10 times of today, 22,000 tons. We've got 8 allegedly. And I only say allegedly because they won't audit it. And I know this, the vast majority of it isn't in deliverable form because they melted down the $20 gold pieces that I got on sale today. But they just melted it down enough to make a bar, didn't take the impurities out. You can't sell it that way. Kind of weird. I don't know if I believe it, but okay. But what he's saying is, listen to what he says because it makes a lot of sense. Who mines more gold than anybody in the world? It's not even close. It's the Chinese. Matter of fact, they've been the number one miner in the world, I want to say now, for 15, 16 years, maybe closing in almost on 20 years of number one. And he's saying, hey, don't believe, because they like to say, they're like right now, I want to say this year they said 380 metric tons is what they mine. That's what they said. He says they've been doing more than that. They just don't tell you. China exports none of it. Matter of fact, it's actually illegal. So none of that gold leaves the country. On top of it, who is the largest importer of gold? Once again, it's China. And it has been that way, again, for about the same amount of time. And India's right behind them, right? Now, India doesn't, unfortunately for India, they don't have a lot of gold mines, right? So they got to import what they've got. But China consumes, if you believe the numbers, the import numbers, the mining numbers, that's 1,500 metric tons. That's almost half of the whole supply. And then you throw India. India adds another 1,000 tons, right? Between China and India alone, you got almost all the gold produced in the world right there. But he goes, don't believe the import number. He says, we know exactly what goes through Hong Kong. But the Shanghai Gold Exchange, we don't really have visibility to what is actually, we have visibility to what the Chinese tell us. But a lot more gold could be coming through the Shanghai, through Switzerland, through the UK. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? We actually had to send gold from the COMEX to the Chinese. That's the first time I've ever heard of us having to do that because, well, they needed more. And then he said, but listen, you got to understand, this is what the Chinese want. They don't want you to know it. Because you would think, well, yeah, look at all the gold right where he's like, nope, that is not their mentality. Their mentality is to understate it. Yeah, we're buying a little bit, but it's just a little bit. Don't worry. Don't worry, America. Don't worry about the reserve currency. But Frisbee says, listen, this country is incredibly ambitious. Boy, and we know that, don't we, right? Of course they are. They are extremely ambitious. Anybody that actually knows, right, Jason? China wants to be number one. They want reserve currency. Look, they forced the IMF to put the renminbi in the basket of currency. What was that, 7 years ago? Forced them to do it, right? And now all of this gold that's going on, he goes, in this century, China's produced, in his mind, 7,000 tons of gold. Now, how much have they imported? I'll give you that number next. And then this is how Frisbee gets to how much gold do they really have and what is the plan. Well, I think we know the plan, but I'll share all of that with you. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News, our final segment here on this Wednesday. Gold just went positive again here, 1967. I still have the 2020s, 2150. You got to buy them all, $2,150. That's $43,000 for all 20 of them. And I don't know if they're libs, saints, whatever they are, you get what you're going to get, all pre-33. You're also going to get, I'm going to throw in a roll of those 1971 Ike dollars, right? They're about $5 of silver in each one at no charge. You get 20 of the Ike dollars and 20 $20 gold pieces for $43,000. On the $5 Liberties, I've got some individuals still left at $555, not very many. I've got one more. If you buy 20, we'll take them down to $550. So that's $11,000. And you'll also get a roll of those Ike silver coins. If you buy 20 of them, that's $11,000. So only have one of each. If you want the 20 special, you want the 20s, it's $43,000. I've got one of those. I've got one left on the $5. If you buy 20 of them at $11,000, you get the roll of Ikes, or individual $5 Liberties, $555 at 800-951-0592. Now I'm getting a little nervous because Frisbee breaks it down. Hey, listen, they mined 7,000 tons. We know from records that they've imported this century 22,000 tons of gold that we know about. He goes, let's do the math, add it together. That's 29,000 tons. Frisbee says that in China, that at least we knew about at the start of the century, there's about 4,000 tons of gold in the country. So that's 33,000 tons. Now, he says, listen, let's take half of that and say that's gold jewelry. That still leaves 16,500 500 metric tons of gold, and yet they're reporting that they only got 2,200 metric tons. He says the math just doesn't work. You didn't use all of that gold for gold jewelry. It's not possible. No way, no how. And he makes it pretty clear. China's got twice as much gold as we do. That's what he says. That's tantamount to a declaration of war. China when they're ready. And he goes, they're not ready yet. They're going to make a move to be the reserve currency of the world, and they're going to do it with gold, and they're going to shock the world with the announcement of how much gold they actually have. I don't know. His numbers are in line because, do the math. That's kind of easy, what they admit to. He says that there's even more on top of it. He went on to say, Jason, he thinks gold's going to hit $3,000 next year. So interesting things. We're seeing more and more and more of these stories about China having a lot more. China having a lot more gold. That's been known for almost 2 decades. That's kind of been the thing. Everyone's like, they're lying. But this amount, that's off the charts.
Yeah, if he's even close to being right on this, and the world goes into a recession or even a depression, China would be in a position to say, hey, I know you guys don't like gold, but we're going to do this. And then all of China's economic woes would go away. Because I don't think China's taken over, Joe. But in this situation, China could.